Beyond the small town of Graceville stretched a vast area shrouded in legends and rumors. The dense forests, covered in moss, were known not only for their unusual trees and thick vegetation, but also for the fact that, according to local lore, something strange and dangerous lurked within. The locals called this area the Labyrinth, because those who dared to venture deep inside often did not return. But everything changed when a group of archaeology students decided to conduct research in this place. Peter, Ella, Josh, and Sarah were four friends passionate about history and archaeology. Inspired by ancient legends and stories they found in old books, they decided to explore the labyrinth, hoping to find hidden artifacts or uncover the mystery of its vanished inhabitants. It was believed that many hundreds of years ago, there was an ancient settlement in this place, the inhabitants of which had once disappeared without a trace. Despite the warnings of the townspeople, the students set off on their journey. On the first day, they explored the forest, marking every detail on the map. However, the farther they went, the stronger the sense of unease became. The forest seemed alive, as if it was watching them. With each step, it seemed to close in around them, and even their compasses began to malfunction, showing different directions. But despite this, the group continued on their way, guided by an ancient map Peter had found in the university archive. On the second day, strange phenomena began to occur in the forest. Ella was the first to notice it. The trees seemed to change their positions. Strange stone pillars covered with unknown symbols appeared on the path. Josh, the most skeptical of the group, decided to examine them more closely, but as soon as he approached, the ground beneath his feet began to tremble. The pillars emitted a faint light, and a light mist began to swirl around them. At that moment, they realized they had encountered something beyond the ordinary. On the third day, tired and frightened, they began to doubt their decision to continue. That night, as they rested by the campfire, the group heard strange sounds coming from the depths of the forest, the echo of distant laughter, whispers, and strange footsteps. Ella, always sensitive to such things, insisted that she heard voices calling her by name. Sarah, the most rational among them, tried to calm her friends, saying it was just a trick of light and shadow, but even she could not hide her anxiety. The fourth day proved fatal for them. Early in the morning, as they prepared to continue their journey, Josh, who had gone to fetch water from a stream, did not return. His cries echoed from deep within the forest, and without wasting a moment, the friends rushed to help. But when they reached the spot from where his voice had come, they found only his backpack and signs of a struggle. Peter was gripped by fear, but he decided not to leave his friend in trouble. However, despite all their efforts, they could not find Josh. Ella was on the verge of a nervous breakdown, and Sarah convinced the others to return to town for help. On the fifth day, now a group of three, they tried to retrace their steps, but the forest would not allow them to find their way back. Every time they thought they were heading in the right direction, the path led them back to the center of the forest, to those very stone pillars. The feeling of being watched became unbearable deep down. They knew they were being observed. The sixth day tested their endurance. Their food was running out, the water was almost gone, and their strength was waning. Sarah began to hallucinate from exhaustion and fear. At one point, she collapsed to the ground and started sobbing, saying she could see shadows surrounding them. Peter and Ella, trying to stay strong, tried to ignore it, but soon they too began to see strange figures on the edges of their vision. The seventh day was their last. The labyrinth had finally ensnared them in its web. When they reached the center of the forest, they found an ancient stone circle hidden deep within the woods. In the center of the circle stood a huge black monolith, radiating cold and a strange glow. It exuded a sense of ancient power, before which no one could stand. Ella was the first to approach the monolith, as if in a trance, reaching out to it. Sarah and Peter tried to stop her, but they were too weak. When Ella touched the monolith, the forest was filled with a deafening sound, as if thousands of voices were screaming in unison. At that moment, the shadows that had been watching them all this time began to move toward them, surrounding and engulfing them. The story ended with none of them ever being seen again. The legend of the Graceville Labyrinth became another ghost story told by locals in the dim light of their homes. And only a few dared to enter this forest, knowing that there they might encounter something ancient and malevolent that would not let go of those who dared to uncover its secret.